Hi! Which are the best high-yield savings accounts in Singapore right now? Banks like OCBC, UOB, and even Bank of China have already been slashing rates. Don't panic. We still got options to earn up to 3.3% interest if you know where to park your money. In this video, I'll break down the top savings accounts in Singapore based on two things: how much cash you've got and how much effort you are willing to put in. If you have got 10k, I'll show you the account that gives high interest with no effort, no spending, and no salary crediting required. If you have got 100k, there is one that works even if you are self-employed or you go on a break. If you've got 150k and you don't mind jumping through some hoops, there are options for you too. So whether you are a student, a freelancer, or you just start your first job, there are options for you here. But just a heads up, interest rates can change anytime, and by the time you watch this video, the rates may even have been updated. So if you want the latest updates, feel free to join my Telegram channel. And without further ado, let's go! I know this sounds basic, but why should we even bother for a high-yield savings account? The truth is that inflation is so real. Your nasi padang or your cai fan is always getting more and more expensive, and GST is also going up. If your bank account is only giving you 0.05% of base interest, you're basically losing money quietly every day. In this video, I will be covering only savings accounts that are SDIC insured. If you are new to this term SDIC insurance, it means that your money is protected by Singapore Deposit Insurance Corporation of up to 100k per person per bank. So if anything were to really happen with the bank, touch wood, you can still get back up to 100k of your deposits, confirm plus chop. But anything above 100k, it is not insured. This basically means that you are taking on the risk for yourself. But that being said, this is Singapore and not Wild Wild West. Banks here are not anyhow. So if there is problem, MAS probably will be already asking them to go and drink kopi before things get serious. And you also want to note that SDIC insurance only protects Singapore dollar deposits. Foreign currency deposits are not covered. And we all have different comfort levels of how much we want to leave there. But safety-wise, this is your foundation. So I'm not including any non-SDIC insured platforms in this video. But if you want me to compare those higher yield, low risk options outside of traditional banks, comment "I want" below, and if there are many people who want it, I'll probably do a video. The first option is actually one that many people have not talked about. It is Singlife account. For your first 10k, the Singlife account is still unbeatable. With the Singlife account, you get 3% per annum on your full 10k with no salary credit, no card spend required, and no monthly top-ups. Interest is calculated daily but credited monthly, and it is not tiered. This means that whether you have $1 or $10,000, you still get that 3% without jumping through hoops. Once you go over 10k, it actually drops to 1%. So this is best for those who need a space to put your emergency funds or short-term goals, or if you're just starting out and you don't really have much balance, you can start by using this account. And for anything above 10k, you'll want to pair this with another account. And this leads me to the next account. The next account is the GXS Bank account, which gives you up to 2.58% per annum if you were to put your funds into the GXS Boost Pocket with a maximum of $60,000 deposit. And what's great is that there is no salary crediting required, no spending required, as well as no minimum balance required. How it works is each Boost Pocket earns you up to 2.58% only if you can leave it untouched for 3 months. That is the latest rates, but you do want to check the rates because they keep changing. It is similar to a term deposit or a fixed deposit where the base and the bonus interest is reviewed by the bank regularly, and it may change from time to time. However, once you lock it in for that 3 months, it will be fixed. The difference between this account and a fixed deposit account is that it is still flexible. If you withdraw your money early just by even $1 or 1 cent, you drop to the base interest of 2.08%. But if you were to withdraw after the 3 months soft lock period, then you can earn that full interest of 2.58%. However, if you were to leave it in the savings pocket, you get 2.38%. So Boost Pocket is best for money that you don't need for that flexible lock-in period. If you think that you're going to need the money, then use Savings Pocket. You can use my code below to sign up for a GXS savings account, or use your friends so that we can what together. The GXS Bank is great for those who have lower balances below 70 over K, but if you have got $76,150 to 100K, then the UOB Stash account is actually a great fast free option. Why $76,150? Because that's where it wins the GXS Savings Pocket of 2.38%. And if you want to win the rate of GXS Boost Pocket of 2.58%, then the balance required is around 82,500. So between 82,500 to 100K, your interest rates will keep increasing from 2.58% to 3% on your whole balance. There is no salary crediting required, no spend required. All you need to do is just keep your monthly average balance the same or higher than the last month. The best case scenario for this is that if you have 100K, you can just leave it inside and don't touch. How does UOB calculate the monthly average balance? They will take the summation of each day's end balance in the stash account for each calendar month divided by the number of calendar days in that month. So if the difference between your previous month's monthly average balance and your current month monthly average balance is 0 or higher, you'll get the bonus interest. A pro tip is that even if you withdraw, you can still qualify as long as you top up again before the month end. Just use the UOB app or the UOB internet banking to track your balance. They will tell you what you need to do. This account is great for those who are self-employed or those who are just holding a lot of cash. Maybe you're waiting to buy a property, or you just want a safe place to park your cash, but you don't really want to jump through any hoops. So this could be a really good option for you. So sis, what if I have salary that I want to credit? Are there better accounts that I can use? Yes. If you are okay with some effort, then the OCBC 360 account gives one of the highest rates right now at 3.3% per annum. Let me explain more. This doesn't apply to all level of balances. If you have a balance below 75K, if you are able to fulfill the salary crediting criteria of 1,800 per month, you will earn 1.6% per annum. If you are able to fulfill the credit card spending requirement of $500 per month, then you are able to earn an additional 0.5%. And if you are able to increase your balance by $500 per month, then you are able to earn 0.6% per annum. Overall, if you are able to fulfill all three criteria, for your first 75K, you can earn a maximum effective interest of 2.75%. This rate will increase as your deposit increase from 75K to 100K, topping off at 3.3% per annum for your first 100K. Above that, it is not worthwhile to use this account anymore, so you want to choose another savings account to put the other funds. This is good if you have a salary that comes from a company bank account, because there are no hacks available for this, so you do need to have HR help you to credit your salary from a company bank account. The next is if you're already using or able to use an OCBC credit card and not a debit card. And finally, if you are willing and able to increase your savings by $500 per month. A great thing about this account is that it's a lot more forgiving. Even if you miss one condition, maybe you miss the spending criteria, you only lose one tier of interest and not the whole lot. It's a bit more like a kueh lapis. Without one layer, you still got another layer. But if you don't have a credit card, it's really much harder to maximize this account unless you can put a 10K secured deposit to apply for one. If you want to know which OCBC credit card pairs best, comment OCBC below and I'll do a comparison for you. And finally, if you have 150K, then the UOB one still stands as one of the best accounts, giving you 3.3% per annum on that entire amount. However, you will need to spend $500 on a UOB card. The good news is that this does not need to be a credit card. In a way, you can still use a UOB one debit card on retail transactions and tap, or even use for online transactions to fulfill the requirement. The second criteria is to credit at least $1,600 worth of salary via Giro into this account. The pro tip is that you can just transfer $1,600 from an account like DBS or POSB and set the transaction purpose as salary. Yes, this will fulfill the salary crediting requirement on the UOB One account. However, this does not work with OCBC 360. But here's the issue. The spending part is non-negotiable. It's a bit like the cake inside your birthday cake. No cake, no celebration, no interest. The salary credit is just like the whipped cream. It's nice to have but no substance on its own. You will just earn the base interest of 0.05% without any spending. This is great for those who have a lot of cash and can at least spend $500 on either a UOB debit card or a UOB credit card. So even if you don't have a job or maybe because you're retired, you can still use this bank account. And finally, if you want to squeeze more out of your cash, UOB has a quarterly promotion that allows you to earn bonus cash for fresh funds that you top up. For now, the promotion available is UOB Cash is King Bonanza that gives you bonus cash. All you need to do is register your participation by the 30th of June 2025. Then you need to deposit a minimum of 20k up to 150k of new funds into your eligible UOB savings account. Then the new funds deposited will need to be set aside for approximately 5 months. They are year-marked and it cannot be withdrawn during this period. You can treat it like a fixed deposit. So if you were to top up 20k of new funds, you can get $50. If you were to top up 50k, you can get $150 cash. If you were to top up 100k, you can get $320 cash. If you were to top up 150k, you can get $500 cash. That's roughly about 0.6 to 0.8% return extra on top of your savings. However, do remember that this is fresh funds. This promo can sweeten the deal for those who have a UOB stash or a UOB One account, but you do need to do some fund transfer here and there to fully optimize it. And finally, UOB also has a tax saver promo which you can take advantage of that I talked about in a previous video on how you can optimize your tax payments over here. So here's how I think about it. If I don't have salary and I don't want to jump through hoops, I'd go for Sing Life for first 10k, GXS Boost for anything below 60k, and UOB Stash for anything from 76k to 100k. If I do have a salary crediting and I do have spending, then OCBC 360 for my first 100k and UOB One for anything from 100k to 150k. I really hope this was helpful for you. Give a subscribe so that you don't miss the next lobang. And remember to join my Telegram channel if you want real-time updates. Sometimes promotions change before I can even finish editing a video. If you want to sign up for anything, you can use the description links below. Now that your savings account is sorted, the next step is to optimize your spending. You can check out this video where I share my updated strategy of 2025 after a few credit cards have nerfed. This is helpful whether you are a miles chaser or a cashback hunter. I'll see you in the next video.